Good afternoon, YouTube. Well, this is day 2. I'm going to title this video part 2 of my gastric surgery story. Last night I was so tired that I couldn't even finish a thought or couldn't contemplate what else I wanted to say. And it's pretty much that way right now. As you can see, I'm already in my night clothes, and it's only, I think it's only like, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, it's only 4:43 this afternoon. After I finished loading up the video last night and recording the video last night, I only managed to get 3.5 hours of sleep. So from Sunday morning, which was, I went to bed around 1:30. And then last night, I went to bed, only got up maybe about 3 hours of sleep. I think I went to bed around 11:30. So, for the past 2 days, I've only managed to get 4 hours of sleep. And I've been working between 2 days, 16 hours. So, and then in between those days, running errands and things like that. So, I am wasted. I'm in bed, but I did want to try to record another video to upload on YouTube. As you can see, again, like I said before, I'm in bed. As soon as I finish this, I'm going to go right to sleep. So I just wanted to kind of pick up from where I left off yesterday. The closing of that video was very abrupt, and that's because I was using my tablet. Today I'm using my laptop. I'm hoping that this comes off pretty clearly because I just did a test and the sound didn't sound too loud, the volume didn't sound too high for this, so I'm hoping that once it loads up to YouTube, you'll be able to get a more clearer or louder sounding video, so I'm hoping that will work. But one of the things I wanted to touch base on too about having surgery is the experience of the journey that you go through that leads up to surgery. When I decided to get the surgery, I went through. I live in I live in Philadelphia, so I went to a hospital that had a really good reputation for doing these surgeries, which was the University of Penn, a very prestigious hospital, world-renowned, I'm getting tongue-tied, world-renowned, I think I pronounced that correctly, tongue-tied, I'm tired, but it's, a very good hospital, that's all I have to say about it. Very excellent care. They have the latest technology and everything, and it's a very knowledgeable staff. I was lucky enough to get the surgeon that I had who did my surgery, was head of the surgical department. He's been doing surgeries for a very long time. A lot of people that I've met from support groups, and even on my job, there were a lot of people on my job that had surgery through this hospital and also had that surgeon who, and every time when I talked to people about the surgeon, they all said the same exact thing, and I even have to add to that. The doctor was awesome. The whole team at the hospital, University of Penn, was pretty good. They take you step by step as to what to expect. They do a thorough battery of tests that you have to get done before having surgery. You go to nutritional counseling, at least 3 nutritional counselings before you actually have surgery. Some people rushed into it. I kind of dragged it out a little bit. I wanted to take my time with it, and before I had the surgery, like when you first start the process, initially you do have to, and I'm trying to remember if they said this was an insurance requirement, but you do have to go to an information session about the surgery and learn about the 3 types of surgery that are offered and figure out which one is going to work for you once you consult with one of the surgeons. Initially I thought I wanted to get the lap band because from what I understood about the lap band, well, my perception of the lap band was that it wasn't evasive, like there was nothing being done with my stomach, only that there would be a device implanted that could be adjusted. But then when I went to the information session about the surgery, that surgery really, surprisingly, it turned me off. And the reason why it turned me off, because it sounded very complicated. It sounded like you could experience a whole lot of complications with it. And I know that sounds strange as to, well, why would you expect more complications from a procedure where you're not altering your internal organs? But it did. The lab band procedure, for what was explained to me in the information session that I attended, was that procedure requires consistent visits to the doctor for adjustments. Basically, they take a clamp and put it around your stomach, and they adjust it by inserting saline. And then things like corrosion of the device could happen, and all kind of this. There's a port that's in your stomach. I understand about it. There's a port that they use to insert saline to either can help your stomach contract or to take it out to make it expand. And it sounded like it was very complicated. And on top of that, it didn't have the most effect as far as the weight loss goes. It doesn't. The amount of weight loss that you have, and compared to the other two surgeries like the bypass and the sleeve, it just, to go through all of that and not have a significant amount of weight loss in the amount of time that I wanted it lost, didn't make sense to me. So I decided to go, and I didn't want the bypass. I did not want anything drastic to the point where they were rerouting my intestines and things like that. So I decided to go with the sleeve, which a lot of people decide to go with the sleeve because, again, it doesn't reroute your intestines. Everything is intact. It's just that your stomach is smaller. And then from that point, after you do the initial orientation, then you set an appointment to meet with a nurse practitioner and a surgeon. And I went through that. I started that in, I remember, it was in June of 2014. Now, the whole process, once you, at least the process that I had with my insurance, and I guess it varies depending on your insurance carrier and how your hospital or how your doctor works with the insurance company. But for me, I could have had the surgery within 90 days of that initial orientation, but I didn't want to go in that fast because I still had some apprehension about and fear about getting surgery. The physical aspect of being wheeled in. It was more of a psychological thing that I had to kind of battle as far as going into being wheeled into operating room and just that environment. It kind of unnerved me a little bit, so I did want to take my time, and plus I did want to try to lose some weight and get on a regimen prior to that, because when I came out of surgery I wanted to make sure that I would prepare for after surgery. So plus you know, I would have to take time off of work, which means steady pay wouldn't be coming through, so I did want to save up some money. Luckily for me, and I'm kind of grateful for it, the company that I work for paid for pretty much everything. The only thing I did have to pay out of pocket was a couple of, now I'm thinking about it, I don't think I even had to pay a copay. Company pretty much paid for everything, and I mean everything, with the exception of there were two procedures I did have to pay for out of pocket that my insurance didn't cover, which I think out of pocket I paid about maybe $500. But other than that, my insurance covered everything. And you know, on top of that, while I was out, I did have some sick days. And in addition to that, one of the benefits that I have with the company that I work for is that I can actually get some supplemental income from my retirement fund. So that helped. In addition to saving some money, so I didn't have to worry about finances too much while I was out, which was a good thing because I was able to take the full time that I needed off to focus on getting ready, or not getting ready, but focus on getting into a groove before I went back to work. Which unfortunately I'm kind of off my groove now because my work schedule is crazy. So But anyway, uh, after those first three, the minimum amount of nutritional counseling that you have to get, at least with my insurance, was that you had to have at least 3 nutritional counselings. Also, there was a series of batteries of tests that I had done, and one of the things that I liked about the fact that I went through the Hospital University Penn, through their program and their location, I was able to get everything done in one location. So when I had to get all my battery tests, I had got most of my tests done in one day. Like I got my blood work done, I had my upper GI done, I had I forgot what other tests they did, but they basically were testing the strength of my lungs and things like that. They did it all in one day. And I think I had to go back for several other tests from my primary care doctor's office, and I'm still having some medical issues going on, so I had to keep going to the doctor's office and things like that. But luckily for me, with the testing, everything was coming back good. So I got the okay for the surgery, and that's pretty much it. Then I kind of like slowed it down a little bit, because by the time I got all my tests done, they were ready to start cutting, and I had to slow them down a little bit. I had to space out my visits to kind of slow that down, and then I had beginning of this year, I just started near the end of last year, the beginning of this year. I had to then work on my mental. Okay, so as far as getting the surgery, mentally I was ready. I was beginning to lose some weight before surgery, which was good. And excuse me, because I have a tendency to look into the screen, to reflect the screen, looking at my image instead of looking in the camera. So if you see me keep looking down, I'm looking at myself, and so just excuse that until I'm still an amateur with this, so I have to kind of remember to look directly into the camera as I'm talking, instead of looking at my image of my pretty face. So anyway, not to be conceited, so it's whatever. So anyway, I had to work on my mental as far as getting my head right going into surgery, because I did have a big fear about the anesthesia when I wake up, what's going to happen while I'm down. I actually have a cousin who is a operating room technician, at the hospital, and I started to ask him, look, I'm going into surgery this day, can you be in there when they're doing this surgery and watch them? So but unfortunately he's diabetic, and he suffered a heart attack and was on medical leave when I went in for surgery. So fortunately he was put out of commission, and again, that's the one reason. And he, again, this is on my father's side, he is not obese. He's I'll say he's heavy, but he's not obese. He may be overweight, but he's not obese. And he's tall. Again, father's side, we run tall. I'm the shortest woman on my father's side, so that goes to show you. Well, actually I'm not. I'm one of the few short women. I have some cousins, female cousins, that are very tall, over 6 feet. But I digress. But I really wanted to get myself mentally prepared for the surgery. And what happened was, once I got to the point where I said, okay, you know what? It is what it is. And it may sound morbid to say this, but I'm going to die. If I die on the operating table, I won't be dying in pain. I would have just went to sleep. I think when we think about death, and we think about how, if anybody ever thinks about death and how they would die, I always hope that I would die peacefully, in a bed, and just drift off. And if that's the case, if something like that were to happen to me when I was in that surgery room, if I were to die on that table, I know that I was not in pain. I wouldn't have been in pain, and it would just been like me just going to sleep. So that kind of helped me with the fear of going to surgery. But then as I got close to surgery and I started talking with the surgeon, and I started hearing so many good things about the surgeon, who, by the way, his name is, I will put his name out there in case if some people are in the area of Philadelphia or are willing to come to Philadelphia have their surgeries. His name is Noel Williams. He's very experienced, and he does these surgeries. I think he does these surgeries all day, every day. And like I said before, a lot of good people, including me, has some really nice things about him. I don't want to kind of digress, but I am going to tell you about how I was feeling after surgery and before surgery. That's pretty much what I wanted to focus on in this video, because I wanted to explain to people not to have the fear of the physical. I guess the physical. I'm sorry, I can't think right now because I'm tired. But I guess I want to put this video out about the actual experience of being wheeled in, like somebody who, like me, who has never really been hospitalized. I mean, I've been in the hospital a couple times, but not really hospitalized for a long period of time, like mainly emergency room visits. Twice I was admitted to the hospital for observation, and that was pretty much it. But never really, besides the fact when I was a child, I was around 4 years old, I had pneumonia. That was the only time I've really been hospitalized. But then I haven't really been hospitalized since then. Just the orchestration of it was amazing to me when I arrived in the hospital that morning. At the University of Penn, they have like a little check-in center for inpatient surgery. And they were doing hundreds of surgeries. It seems like hundreds of surgeries at that. I mean, they had a whole board in this room, in this area of the hospital, where they had people just checking in. I got there very early morning, 7:30 in the morning, and I got there not late, but just in time before I started to become late. So when I got there, they were waiting for me. They stand at the door like, okay, we were waiting for you. When I got there, they whisked me right back, got me prepped for surgery immediately. As soon as I got back, they said, okay, take your clothes off, here's the bag, put your clothes in the bag, put this gown on, put this hat on, and we're going to start getting you ready for surgery. And I was like, wow. So within an hour and a half of getting prepped, there I was, IV in the hand, being wheeled off to the operating room. And I was surprised by how huge, the hospital, if you're in Philadelphia, or if you I guess nobody want to really visit the hospital, but if you're familiar with the hospital, when you look at the facility from the outside, the physical structure of the facility, it doesn't look that big, but it's a big, massive hospital. And I was shocked when they started wheeling me, and it was kind of funny, because at one point there were all these people in line, like, you know how when you go to the airport and you are about to take off for a flight, and you see a whole line of airplanes in front of you, and they're just all waiting for clearance for takeoff. That's kind of how it was that day. I mean, it was just like a whole line of people sitting in bed, sitting upright in bed, waiting for their turn to go through the operating room area. It was kind of crazy. I think it was like maybe 20 people in front of me. I was like the last one in the back, and I mean, we were just all just laying in these beds, just sitting up like I'm sitting up now, just sitting there, and we all just looking at the door, waiting for the doors to open so we can go back to the operating rooms. And there were, I never knew there were so many operating rooms in a hospital. It was amazing to me. But they wheeled me back there. I was surprised at how freezing cold it was in that operating room. I mean, freezing. But they made me very comfortable. They had me walk in. They didn't pick me up or wheel me in. They had me walk into the, after they wheeled me to the entrance of the operating room, they had me walking. Which I think for me, that was cool. Instead of being wheeled in, they actually able to walk in. Something about that, again, psychologically, it kind of put me at ease, because it's like, okay, well, I'm just doing, it's like when you walk into the dentist's office and you go and you lay in the chair. That's the kind of effect that it had for me. compared to if I had been wheeled in and, okay, Miss Allen, let me pick you up here, transfer you to the bed. I think that would have made it seem to me more psychological. It probably would have been more, I don't want to say taxing because it wasn't taxing. I guess it would have just affected me a little bit differently. But immediately, as soon as I laid down, they start prepping. The anesthesiologist, he was cool. He was actually funny. He started. He said, "Okay, Miss Allen, we're going to do. I'm going to put some oxygen on you and get you nice and settled." I said, "Okay." Take some deep breaths. I said, "Okay, I'll take some deep breaths." Put the gas mask on. I said, "Okay, we're going to give you a little bit of gas. Take the edge off." I said, "Okay, give me some gas." So I got some gas. And then he said, "Andrea," he said, "you're on a beach." And he said, "the sun is shining." He said, "you hear the ocean breezes." He said, "you feel the breeze coming through your face, hitting your face. And as you lie on the beach, think about that beach." I said, "Okay, I'm thinking about it now." Mind you, right now I'm like really relaxed from the gas, and I said, "Okay, I'm relaxed." And I got this gas mask on. He said, "and you're watching the ocean, you're watching the waves and the blue crystal water and the light dancing all on the top of the water." So now I'm giggling because he's making me laugh. He said, "Okay, and Miss Allen, here comes the wave." And next thing I knew, I was out. I remember the last thing I remember was chuckling, like ha, and then I just remember this, and it did feel like a wave. It was just a wave, and that was it. That's when I guess I went out under the anesthesia, and then the next thing I remember was I remember I didn't hear during the time during surgery nothing. I didn't feel anything. I didn't hear anything. But what I do remember is I guess this is when I was coming out of the anesthesia. I remember the feeling of being moved, like being shifted to. I guess this is when they were ready to transport me to the recovery room. I do remember that sensation of being lifted and moved, and I remember hearing some voices. I guess that's when they were trying to lift me and put me on the bed. And I then remember after I got to the recovery room, I was able to see clearly, but I remember the nurse coming over to me, telling me I was okay. But I remember moaning, doing a lot of moaning, and I remember saying to her that I couldn't breathe. I was having a hard time breathing, but I kept saying I was having a hard time breathing, but I was actually breathing, which was kind of strange. But I remember moaning. Now, I was moaning, but I wasn't in pain. I distinctly remember not being in pain, but I just remember moaning. So I'm thinking maybe that was at the time where I was trying to, since I was coming off the oxygen and off the anesthesia, I think it was just that my body trying to adjust, and my body just saying, "Oh, I can't breathe, I can't breathe." She did give me some oxygen. She said, "You're doing fine." She said, "Very good, you're doing fine." I said, "Oh, I can't breathe, I can't breathe." So I remember her, she said, "Well, okay, I'll give you a little bit of oxygen." I said, "I'll give you some oxygen." And I remember falling right back to sleep. And then maybe another hour or two, they wheeled me up to my room. And I just remember when I got to my room, my father was waiting in the room when I got there. They had me walk from the hallway, the entry to the room, to my bed. And all I can remember is I just wanted to just keep sleeping. Oh my God, that anesthesia just felt so good. I had the best sleep that I can ever remember. I mean, it was a nice sleep. And I remember walking to my bed, getting in my bed. I did manage to get to the bed and in the bed. And I went to sleep again, and I woke up maybe a few hours later again. My father was still sitting there. And but one of the things I was amazed about was that there was no pain. I mean, there was some soreness, but when I say now, I don't like pain. I don't like getting headaches. I'll pop a aspirin in a minute as soon as I feel a little twinge of a headache coming on. So I do not have a high uh, pain tolerance or whatever you want to call it. I do not have that. I do not like pain at all. But I do remember feeling a little sore, but not pain. And I was like, wow. And I'm laying there um, in the hospital, no pain, full pressure and soreness, and that was pretty much it. The next day, and it was, the weird thing was that day I was died. The main thing I wanted I could not have, and it was water. I wanted water so bad, but couldn't drink it. They told me, "Don't you put no water in your mouth." Cause I came close a couple times, just take a little silly. Don't you do it. You know, the nurses had to get on me about that. But the next day, I had gas that was so bad because they do use a lot of gas. I guess during the procedure they use a lot of gas. It was so bad, the pressure of it. When they did try to allow me to start taking in fluids, I couldn't get it down. They had to give me a pill to relieve the gas. I forgot what pill they gave me, but they gave me something to relieve the gas because it was just making me nauseous. Like I couldn't get anything. I didn't want anything. Now, as much as I craved water the day before, the next day I didn't even want it. I didn't want anything. They did manage to get me some medication to get that down. And I was only in the hospital for 2 days. Really a day and a half, really. I checked in on a Thursday. I think the second was Thursday. I remember it being on a Thursday. And I checked out Saturday morning. So it was really only a day and a half, 2 days, if you want to, technically count Saturday. So, and it was pretty good. I had a visiting nurse come out twice to check in on me, which was good. And I had a follow-up visit in 2 weeks with my surgeon, which was good. And that was pretty much it. I mean, I went for another follow-up visit a couple weeks ago. Found out that I had lost at that point 60 pounds. I don't know. They have well, they didn't really weigh me when I remember prior to being wheeled in that day. They didn't weigh me, but I remember a few weeks prior to being weighed, they had my weight at, I think they had my weight at 380, I think. But I knew that prior to going in, my weight was a little bit lower than that. I can't quite remember now, and I have stuff written down. I can't even find it right now, what I have written down as far as my records. But it's pretty seamless procedure, and I was surprised at how regimented they were. I mean, the staff was awesome. I mean, and that was another thing. They had me up and walking right after surgery. So right after surgery, they was like, "Miss Allen, you have to get up and you have to start walking." And I was like, "Oh, okay," which I did on my own. So right after surgery, when I felt strong enough, when some of the anesthesia started wearing off a little bit, I took a couple chances to take a walk around the hospital floor. The first couple times I tried to do it, it was hard. And again, it wasn't because I was in pain. It was just I'm still groggy from the anesthesia, groggy and weak from the anesthesia. And I guess just, having surgery, you get kind of weak. So I couldn't really walk. Like I could walk around a hospital floor, but it was a little tough. So I had to do it at intervals. So every hour, do a 5-minute walk. If I could do 5 minutes, walk to the nurse's station and back. By the time I was ready to leave the hospital, I was doing laps around the nurse's station. So, but other than that, the nurses, the whole staff at the hospital, they were just awesome. And I would recommend, like I said before, if you are in this area and you're planning on having the surgery, go to the hospital of the University of Penn or Penn Medical Health Systems. They have other locations in the area, in the different areas. If you are out of state and you are looking, if you have the means and the ways of going out of town to get the surgery done, do it. And if you do it, come here to that hospital and get it done. They do an excellent job. So that's a little plug for them, I guess. But I am really happy with the way everything went. As far as complications, like I said last night, the only complications that I'm experiencing right now is the shedding of the hair. It is hard getting some of the protein in, because they want you to get basically about 70 grams of protein a day, and for me that's hard, especially when you don't feel hungry, because I don't feel hungry at all since I've had it. So I haven't really had any urges of feeling hungry. Not that I can think of anyway. I don't think I have. Excuse me. I'm tired. So I have to kind of remind myself to eat. I'm still having some intolerances as far as food goes. I've been lucky. I have not had any intolerances as far as throwing up. I did have one incident where I almost threw up. And it was, oh my God, it was horrible. I had one incident, and I'm finding that it's with a particular food. And they say that's going to happen. Some food you're just going to have certain reactions to it. And it was this food. It was ground beef. I had some ground beef in a patty that I made. It wasn't like a hamburger patty, but I had made some beef, and I didn't make the beef moist. It was kind of on the dry side, and when I ate it, it was hard going down, and the way it just hit my stomach, I was like, oh my God, it made me nauseous. The room was spinning. I was sweating. I felt right in this area, I guess, like an acid kind of reflux kind of thing, where a buildup. I think it was like almost like a buildup of mucus. It felt like it was just trapped in this area, and it just. I said, oh Lord! But even after that, I'm seeing that beef is probably a product that I'm probably going to have to let go for right now. And I've been thinking about transitioning into more vegetarian type foods. I like vegetables, so I don't have any problem eating vegetables. I love vegetables, actually. So I'm probably going to have to transition into getting into more vegetarian type foods. I still like meat though, but so stick with chicken and fish, eggs. That's pretty much the meats that I eat now. I eat fried chicken. I only can eat one little piece of a wing. I mean, that's good enough for me. I don't eat it often. I really haven't been eating a lot of meat, actually. Now I'm thinking about it, I haven't really been eating a lot of meat. Now, before I came home, I got home around 2:30 this afternoon. I did eat, I had some salmon, and I had this broccoli. It's called broccolini. It's a broccoli, but it's a different version of broccoli. It's longer, it's darker. I had one long strand of this broccoli. It's not like the traditional broccoli you see in that little condensed little short bunch. It's longer, the stems are longer, and it's greener. So I think you call it broccolini or something like that. But I had that, and I had this. I got this from Whole Foods Market. Actually, it was a mixture of brown wild rice with quinoa, and it also had I think it had some mint in it. I had like a little aftertaste of mint and I guess lime or lemon. It had a little hint of that after I ate it, but it was really good, and I like that. So I had a little bit of that, and it's about a saucer size serving of it, and I ate that. Earlier today I had I have breakfast. What did I have for breakfast? I'm trying to remember. See, that's the bad thing about me not planning my meals out, because luckily I do have an app that I use called MyFitnessPal, which is pretty good. But that's one of the things about the schedule that has thrown me off track, because I haven't been able to do any really major food plan like I want to do, which I am going to get done this weekend. I am getting myself back on track. I haven't been exercising the way I was supposed to be exercising. Luckily, I haven't gained. I did have a little slight gain. I find within the past 2 weeks. 'Cause I did actually get down to 295 a couple weeks ago, but now I'm up to 297. So I'm like, we're not having that. I'm not even no. I know it fluctuates and things like that, but I don't want to hear that. Now, going through all of this and having a weight gain is no. I don't care if it's 1 or 2 pounds. I'm not having it. So you stabilize, maybe a pound, not 2 or 3, not no. So I am going to do a menu plan this week. I bought a blender, one of those Ninja blenders. It's still sitting in a box that I have not opened. I got it before I went in for surgery, planning on using it to do smoothies and things like that. I haven't had a chance to use it yet, so I'm going to do that this weekend. I'm getting my kitchen organized. I have a food scale that I bought beginning of this year. I still haven't used yet. I have a couple things that I've ordered and bought and haven't used yet. I bought a printer, a brand new printer, still sitting in the box, in the shipping box. Never opened it. It's been a year now. I haven't opened it yet. I have a sewing machine that, again, haven't used yet. And that's a bad habit. I'm going to share that in another video about my bad shopping habits. I have a bad shopping habit that I'm trying to break, especially with clothes. I am a clothes horse. I just love to go shopping for clothes. I'm sorry. I mean, maybe it's just just me being part of a woman. I cannot stay out of these damn stores shopping. I get bored. I go shopping. And sometimes it's like, I'm just gonna look around, and then I see something that I like, and I'm like, I got to get that. Especially as a big woman, sometimes it's just hard to find really nice, pretty clothes. And then when you see something that's pretty and it looks good on you, and it's only one in your size, you're like, I got to get this. I mean, I shouldn't buy this right now because I'm trying to save up. I got to get my car fixed. I got to get it tuned up. And I got to pay my car note. But I'm going to get this outfit. We're going to make this work. I'm going to get this outfit. So, and yes, I do. And it's bad. And I know it's bad. But, yeah, I do shift money around when it comes. And I just need to stop. I have to learn how to stop doing that. Somebody told me on Facebook, just keep my ass out the store. I'm like, I can't. I can't. I mean, I do try to stay out of stores, but somehow, no matter what, every time I step out the door, I'm in a store. I don't, it's somewhere down the line, I'm going to be in a store somewhere. Whether it's a grocery store or a clothing store, somewhere. If I step out my door, I'm in a store somewhere. Running an errand, it could be just paying a bill, but eventually I'll wind up in a store somewhere. So that's something that's another habit. And hopefully maybe I can even share with you, and you can give me some tips on how to stop buying stuff. But anyway, but yeah, I'm going to get myself organized this weekend and get it together. So that's it. I'm rambling again. And actually, it's now. Let's see what time it is. It's now 5:21. So I'm going to get ready to go to bed. And get myself relaxed. That way I can at least get try to get 8 hours of sleep. So yeah, we're ready to go to bed. It's been nice doing this video again. I hope you like it. Though I'm new to YouTube, so and this whole medium thing, I'm not the most savvy as far as social media. For a long time, I was kind of against doing it. But wanted to see about YouTube. If you like it, thumbs up, thumbs down. Let me know. Leave a comment. Make some suggestions if you think this is a topic you're interested in hearing from me, or if you're interested in hearing from me at all, whatever. My feelings won't be hurt. Be honest about what you see in the video, or if you're interested in hearing more from me. I like to know that too. Now, if some of you go on here and you want to say some little smart ass shit, it's not going to stop me from doing what I want to do. So, but that's just a joke. But anyway, but this, if you like it, thumbs up, thumbs down. Give me an idea if someone is watching it, and if you like it. So, hope to talk to you soon. Take care. Have a good night. Thank you.